Majeed, let's start with the big one, which Nigerians are all talking about. The presidential pardons, 175 names put out by the Presidential Prerogative Mercy Committee, forwarded to the president, and he approved with the Council of State. Some of the names we have include people who have been sentenced to drug for Igbo, cannabis sativa, cocaine, marijuana, and all sorts. I even saw one tramadol, and some of them have been sentenced as recently as 2023, 2024. Some given 4 years and have served 2 years. What are your thoughts on these pardons, Majeed?
Well, the only thing I can say is that first, congratulations to those that have been pardoned. And if you ask me, that list is incomplete. For me, it should have included people like Lawrence Anini, maybe Abubakar Shekau, maybe people like Shinorambo, Deriko Wamama, and all other known criminals should have been pardoned too, so that let us know that it has gone around. Because for me,
honestly, I saw what you did there.
Honestly, I mean, how else do you want me to make sense out of this? Out of what clearly is something that does not really make sense. You see, the powers given to the president under the prerogative of mercy section of the Constitution is to be exercised with the utmost sense of caution, with an aim to reconcile, to heal, and to bring about unity. And so usually, people that fall under this category that should be considered are people that somewhat have some politically motivated issues that led them into detention or imprisonment. So generally, what I'm saying in essence is, people that should qualify for this mostly are people that are maybe prisoners of conscience, people that got into trouble through their political activism, maybe they were victimized, so to say, or even if they have filed the law, but maybe the intention was to press some certain political issues. Those are the kind of people that remotely should be considered for amnesty when it is determined that the intention behind whatever they have done was to press some certain demand, maybe social justice, environmental justice, such as Yoguni 9, for instance. That group aptly qualifies for an amnesty. When there has been a clear case of miscarriage of justice, such individuals also qualify for prerogative of mercy. But when you go on a shopping spree of petty thieves, criminals, drug barons, murderers, and people that ordinarily should not be in the community of human beings, I grant them pardon or reduce their life sentences. You have made nonsense, absolute nonsense, of the criminal justice system of the country. You have simply rewarded crime. It means to commit crime pays, because all you need to do is to press certain buttons and make sure that in the next list of pardonees, you are included.
But Majeed, some could
justice for victims of this crime.
Majeed, some would argue that there's something called the Presidential Prerogative of Mercy Committee, and that this Presidential Prerogative of Mercy Committee is made up of it's chaired by the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. It has a representative of the Ministry of Justice, a representative of the security agencies, a representative of the Nigerian Correctional Services, and also the Council of State has to approve all of these. Now maybe the president just got the list and signed it off, and so it's not his fault.
No, he takes responsibility. He set up the committee. He should have gone through the list, and he should have known that the characters that are there simply send the message that to commit crime in Nigeria pays. You don't pardon people who have been convicted for stealing public funds, and then you pardon them under the prerogative of mercy. It is for me a slap on Nigeria. It means you have simply said, look, you can do this as long as you have friends and you are connected to high offices. You get pardoned. How do you pardon people that are known to have committed crime against the state? Crime on the scale of economic and financial crimes and stealing of public funds. How do you do that? How do you pardon people for drug-related offenses at a time that the NDLEA is doing so much to rid Nigeria of the drug menace? I mean, if I'm the head of the NDLEA, I would resign on this account alone. The number of drug-related offenders that have been either pardoned or sentences reduced. He is making mockery, he's making nonsense again of the effort that has been put in to arrest, to apprehend first, then arraign, try, and get them convicted. If you know what it takes to convict one single criminal in Nigeria, you will understand why this what has just happened makes absolutely no sense. And for the first time in a long time, I agree with the opposition leaders who have criticized this particular move. There was no need for this. There was no national outcry for this. There was no demand for this. How do you pardon these sort of characters or reduce their sentences? Again, what this conveys, what this communicates in clear terms is that to commit crime in Nigeria pays, as long as you're highly connected. How do you grant amnesty to kidnappers at a time that we are still facing the menace of kidnapping in Nigeria? Right. Nigeria has become a thoroughfare, for instance, for armed bandits that are kidnapping people for ransom. It's a multi-billion criminal enterprise. At the time that Nigeria is still trying to battle and contain this menace, you are granting amnesty or whatever, you are granting pardon. So, people that the state has managed to convict and put away for kidnapping, you are reducing their sentences or granting them pardon. How does it make sense?
Majeed, talking about kidnapping, you've said it all, and you said you agree with the opposition parties. I think the ADC described it as a national disgrace. I don't know. What do you expect now? There's a gentleman whose case has come up, and he is said to have been the mastermind of the kidnapping of Chief Michael Zekome SAN in 2013. I don't know if you've seen the story. Is it 2013?
Yes, I've seen it.
Yes, by the name Kelvin Prosper Oniara, aka Kelvin Ibruwe, who was sentenced to prison for that particular incident. Amongst others, he said to have kidnapped the judge of the Edo State Judiciary. He is said to have kidnapped the top female official of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. He is said to have also kidnapped Dr. Chudin Wike, former deputy governor of Anambra State, who was killed while in his kidnapper's den, and several members of the NYSA and security agency. I've even seen some students of Delta State University who said that he killed their fellowship president and a preacher who were on their way to preach at an event in Delsu, so on and so forth. And this man is walking free.
No, for me, the state has failed the people. You see, the Nigerian state, in this instance, has happened again to the victims of this criminal. I mean, if you are a victim of this person, how are you going to feel today that the government has decided, without even compensating victims of his criminal enterprise, have decided to grant him some form of pardon or some form of reprieve? How would you feel if you're a victim of this person? How would the children and the family members of those who died as a result of his nefarious activities, how would they feel today? How would they be feeling? Do you think they will ever love Nigeria? Do you think they will ever be loyal to Nigeria ever again? You think so? Look, actions have consequences. And when government wants to carry out anything at all, they should think it through. Is it that we don't have thinkers anymore in this government? This is really the list of our problems. Nobody ever agitated for people to be granted pardon. It was never an agenda in the public. All Nigerians are asking for is improvement in their lives, in the welfare and security of their lives. Simple. And then you go on a pardon spree of convicted, hardened criminals. It's unfortunate, really. I don't know. I can't really piece together the words to describe what has happened to us. How would the international community look at Nigeria, really? How?